Hello again to all you funny and cool people that found themselves in this part of the information superhighway to the 118th edition of Weird Mind Newsroom, where of course this week we're discussing all forms of media, including a small selection of new releases, a selection of trailers, and some odd selection of news stories. But there's enough of all of what we expect, and let's get to talk on what we have for this week in all things of media. And our first movie for this particular instance is that we're going to head back about 5 years ago to a time when the world stopped and had shut down in focus and had become a case of an ideal that when the world stops working to a certain virus, things will soon spiral and bring out the worst in people, and how it seems to have changed many in some parts of the world. As Ari Aster is back once again with his fourth feature film outing with the release of his all-new movie of Eddington. Now in this film that has no relation to the marmalade-loving bear, the film is set during the events of the recent COVID pandemic, where we see a standoff between a small-town sheriff, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and a mayor running for re-election played by Pedro Pascal. Soon sparks a powder keg of chaos as soon neighbor is pitted against neighbor in a place known as Eddington, New Mexico. Now reception of this new entry seems to be modest to decently received at best, with praise for its concept and performances, particularly with Phoenix and Pascal, though the film has seen a bit of a divide on either going too far in the concept or not enough, and there's a bit of divide about all of it. But I'm sure it'll be something that'll be well looked into and dissect once time has passed. And if you do want to check it out for yourself, it is now available to check out in cinemas. Then the next of the releases is one that brings the cases from the biggest names in the realm of horror storytelling, giving us something a bit more lighter and a bit more positive focus thing here with a sense of whimsy, and a case of a person could shape and change people's lives in the process, as horror author Mike Flanagan and horror writer machine Stephen King have come together to bring one of King's more lighter stories to the big screen with the release of the new film of The Life of Chuck. Now the film is a collection of 3 separate stories linked to the life and biography of one Charles Krantz, told in reverse, with beginning with his death and ending with his childhood of growing up in a haunted house, and while the case they may be seen as just an ordinary man, he has great potential to bring people together and change the world than he least expects it. Now reception on this King story has been very well received, with praise to its ensemble cast, story and tone, and for being a feel-good film and one of the better received adaptations of King's stories overall. If you want to check it out for yourself, then you can catch this new film out now in cinemas. The last of the films for this week is with a film that provides a sense of deep meaning and reflection when things of the past may come back to scar you or may make you see some things in the present in a different light. As we're heading over once again to A24 for the second time for this week of new releases, with the release of the new film festival acclaimed darling of Sorry Baby. The film will follow Agnes, who a few years ago had something terrible happen to them, but while she deals with that ordeal, life goes on for everyone else. But soon when a friend visits on the brink of an important milestone, Agnes soon realizes how stuck she's been and will soon be a focus of a bittersweet story of finding your way after your world has come crashing down. Now reception on this film has been critically acclaimed, with it being a strong filmmaking debut for the main lead, with a very personal and relatable story and tackling on themes in a mature and respectful manner. If you want to see all this acclaim is about, then you can catch a new film out now as well in cinemas. And for our final release for this week, and the only TV series in focus, is seeing us return to the realm of the superheroes, but in the focus of the new realm of heroes and universes in development, but in the case of things of old hero figures getting a new focus and perspective. In this instance, as this particular antagonist turned anti-hero with the shiny chromatic helmet is back with his own unique team of underdogs to help bring the peace by any means necessary. As after 3 years and one new established universe later, we have the release of the second season of the acclaimed DC TV series of Peacemaker. Now this season will see Chris, or Peacemaker, continue on his journey to becoming a vigilante superhero with his new team known as the 11th Street Kids, while also dealing with struggles to reconcile with his past and newfound sense of purpose, while continuing on his quest to kick righteous evildoer ass in his misguided quest for peace at any cost, and also dealing with the threat of being hunted down by one Rick Flag Sr. for the death of his son. Now reception on the new season so far, like the first season, has been very well received, with praise for its more over-the-top concept of a season while still maintaining the well-dynamic character writing, performances, and for its simple but understanding retconning of the first season into the second season to make it part of the new DCU. And if you're ready to bring the motherfucking peace, then you can catch the first episode now on HBO Max in the States and here on Sky Now TV, with a new episode releasing every Thursday or Friday morning. And with all that now, that's all the new releases that we do have for this week.
Pissing all by yourself, handsome?
So the first of the trailers that we have for this week is in the focus of the realm of the horror genre. A year that's been full of big success stories, and the base of this next one is what we have not known too much on, or likes what we can expect, but the likes of the person making this usually gives it a tone and well done marketing to really entice people with his concept, but also leave many confused as to what the hell is going on. As Osgood Perkins is back again with a new full trailer look at his second horror movie for this year, the new film of Keeper. Now, not much is really explained to us as what to expect, but what we have been given in some vague plot is the focus of a wife finding herself isolated in a secluded cabin will soon find herself fending off a presence presence that is of some unspeakable evil. Now, I feel like in any case with a lot of this focus and discussion is that with Perkins' projects in mind, he keeps it very vague and really gives a sense of mystery, that while his footage may not explain that much at first glance, there is a sense that there's a lot we can probably get. That's too vague to break down right now, but I'm sure as the days go on, we'll probably make more sense of all of this and the anticipation will probably grow. I'm sure it'd be well worth seeing if the project was another big horror hit for this year, but I guess we'll see in due time, with the film making its presence known in cinemas from the 14th of November. Now, our last horror-centric film and film trailer for this week that we have is the case that we have seen many a perspective the likes of a horror tale, whether it's a murder mystery, a found footage affair, or even the realm of the psychological, or even this year from the perspective of the spirit themselves. But there is one realm in this case that we have yet to really see much of a perspective on, and that's the case of seeing some of the horrors from the point of view of man's best friend, as we received a trailer for a new take on seeing horror with the trailer for the film of Good Boy. Now, the film will follow a man named Todd, who following the death of a family member will see himself and his faithful dog Indy relocate to an old rural farmhouse owned by Todd's late grandfather. Even though it was reported to be haunted, it seems that Todd ignores these warnings. However, Indy soon starts to see disturbing supernatural entities all around the home that may be invisible to humans, but to this dog it is all too real. And unable to communicate with his owner of his fears and for his safety, Indy must confront and understand about these malevolent forces threatening his owner, and as of the dangers, the dog's loyalty is put to the ultimate test in a desperate attempt to protect his owner. And this is the film that has been quite the talking point the last few days, as it seems a lot of discussion and made aspects online as to no matter if it's real or in fictional narrative, that no one wants to see an animal, especially a dog, in pain or injured, and probably explain the massive increase in the wondering if the dog will make it out okay by the end. It sounds like a unique presence and nearly feels like a live action take on Courage the Cowardly Dog, and it seems like most critics so far are in agreement and has also been labeled as one of the most heartfelt horrors of recent memory. But I'm sure if anything bad happens to this dog, we riot. But I guess we will see the outcome of all this by the time the film is unleashed in cinemas from the 10th of October. So the next selection of trailers will mainly consist of titles that were unveiled during the big event of this week of Gamescom, and have decided to do so in the ones that highlight that I see instead of going deep into all that was announced for the news stories besides one thing. But the next trailer will see us return to a world that has gone a bit to the disarray, playing the society of a world frozen in time, but in the location where a good portion of this new season will take us, he'll have been wondering if the whole thing was rigged from the start, as we are heading back to the far reaches of the wastelands as we receive the first trailer for the upcoming second season of the video game adaptation of Fallout. Now, the new season will follow on from the end of the first, and following from the tease in the finale, we'll see Lucy and Dogmeat accompanying Cooper across the wastelands towards a place known as New Vegas, in order for her to discover the truth about her father and a vault tech. And Cooper tries to reflect and resolve the scars of his past, and in the process we'll see Maximus preparing himself for war and a growing conflict set to happen. So it really does seem the case that the original season was a surprise success with the big name talented performers involved. It really does seem like it was making the production well worth the scope and appeal and respect to the franchise, and is now taking the audience to the place based on the most popular of the game's franchise itself. I'm sure it will have a wide appeal to many. I'm sure it could be another success on their hands, but I guess we'll see how it all comes together when the journey continues onto Amazon Prime from the 17th of December. Now for the game focus trailers, our first turn to the title that has the last big unveiling of the Summer Games Fest, and we have been brought back with some new look at the footage that delves deeper into the strange mystery unfolding, as will soon be time to return to a place that was lost to the ruins of the past, as we received a new brief gameplay trailer look, Resident Evil Requiem. The game will have you play as FBI tech analyst Grace Ashcroft, who is dispatched to investigate a series of strange deaths discovered at the Wrenwood Hotel, a location where her mother Alyssa had died 8 years prior, as well as the case also finding yourself back in Raccoon City, which has been about 3 decades since the destruction of it at the end of Resident Evil 3. Try to learn the secrets and solve the mystery of a virus trying to take a toll of many innocent lives. So I remember the case of this project being something well worth looking into, and I know a few friends of mine that are very excited with this new entry, and while the trailer doesn't show too much, provides a sense of speculation on some things, like who is the man in the hood, the reveal also came with some look at the demo from the event, and there's a creature in this tile that is quite disturbing, so to say, but so far it looks visually great. The horrors look set to be good, and if it's like the aesthetic of that dollhouse from the 8th game in the franchise, then we're in for a scary old time. And for the fear discussions, we'll continue with friends of mine. We're excited for this, but we will keep it as such until the title reaches release on the moment on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on the 27th of February next year. The next of the game trailers for this one is seeing a return from an iconic hero making a return to the gaming scene, and all will tell more of a much bigger world and tell us of his legacy over the decades, all put together one brick at a time. As after more than a decade since he had been to this IP in this form, it will be time once again to don the cape and cowl once more and become one with the night, as you have received the reveal of the newest LEGO game in the form of LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. In this new entry, this was somewhat of its own separate candidacy to the LEGO Batman IP trilogy. You will once again take on the mantle of the Batman, explore across a vast Gotham City open world, partake in combat seemingly inspired by the Arkham games, and play through a new story inspired by a selection of films, comics, shows, and games of the world's greatest detective. Now, I have been one that has been waiting for an all-new LEGO game like this for a while, as it's been almost 3 or so years since the Skywalker saga came out, and while it was very impressive, it has been seen a bit of a mixed appeal as time has gone on, and even longer since a new entry with a Batman title. Unless you also kind of count DC supervillains in that aspect as well. But from the unveiling of this title earlier this week, this one has been very exciting to see, and it looks like they really cooked with this title. Now, I'm all for a new LEGO open world Batman game that is essentially a LEGO version of the Arkham games, including probably the stress-inducing case of the Riddler trophies reportedly being returning back. But either way, I'm excited to play it out, and while no proper release date has been given yet, we will be seeing this title released on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC sometime next year. And to round out the trailers for this week has been one that has many have been a long time coming. A game that has started its legacy from a title that came out that released almost a decade ago at this point, and one that's been quite in footage and a response for well over 3 years now, and many doubt it was real. But after much anticipation and a brave soldier on this platform giving any sense of updates every day for about 1,000 days, we have finally gotten the news many were waiting for as we received the trailer for the new standalone initial DLC sequel of Hollow Knight with Silk Song. In this standalone title, you will take on the role of character known as Hornet, the former princess of Hollow Knight's fallen kingdom of Hallownest, as she is forced to explore the new land of Farloom after being captured and taken there, and a land described as being haunted by Silk and Song, where she will be taken on a deadly pilgrimage to ascend to the land's peak and discover the ancient secrets tied to her nature and past along the way. So it's definitely a case that this project has been highly anticipated, and being in development for the near part of a decade, it seems like it is well worth wait and well worth playing, as if I know a fair few people will be utmost excited for this title. And after all this time, we were finally graced with a release date too. And it's really close as well, as the title will be slashing its way onto PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X and S, Switch 1 and 2, and Mac and PC from September 4th, with physical editions of the title coming sometime in early 2026. Now, with all that regards now, that's all the new trailers that we do have for this week.
So, back in the day, jingle, jingle, jingle.
So the first of the stories that we will be talking on for this week is the array of stories and announcements of some of the confirmed release dates and windows for a couple of projects from a few films, and even some separate aspects in media that include a bit of tech announcements from this week, but let's look into what those projects are in particular. So the first of the release windows in general is with the realm of something that was not be seen as a major place for a type of genre, but it seems more in recent memory is really taken off in terms of bringing some well-established creatives into the media zeitgeist of film and TV. That's with the concept of horror found from YouTube. Now we've seen the bait established so far with some creatives, including the Rucka brothers with their 2 horrors of Talk to Me and Bring It Back, as well as the case of soon Chris Struckman come along with his film of Shelby Oaks. But we have another new name that has taken a swing at bringing the project to life in the big screen, and its own personal creation, and a popular one at that, and it's coming to us in the realm of the analog horror realm of YouTube. That's the case with King Pixels and his series of the Backrooms. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Now, in the basis of this really took off, and thanks someone important to me for getting me into this series a couple of years ago, and is a massive success that it was announced back about 2 years ago that the film was being made with A24, and King set to direct the project himself. I've seen some all-star cast involved, and that was where it was a bit at for a bit of time, until just this week, where we got some confirmation not only is the film currently in production and started filming, but we have a release window that the film will be releasing sometime next year, which is a really interesting thing to learn about, and I'm interested to see what this approach the film will take, is either likes of a found footage approach, a third-person mystery film, or whatever it may entail, but it's exciting to learn. And that's all we know of the project currently right now, but once we do get a proper release update, I will update of course in a later episode. The next is an update of a release of a film that we've not only really had at this point been given the release window of, but not the date for, and that is with the film coming from the twisted mind of Guillermo del Toro with his own new take on Frankenstein, where the only news we had for this project coming out in November. But we got the confirmation on Tuesday of this week that the film is now official release date for November 7th onto Netflix. And this could have been where I've ended right now, but it's been confirmed to not be the case as well, as it was also confirmed that similar to what was essentially the case for the new Knives Out film entry this year, has been confirmed to be getting a bit of a theatrical release, with the film confirmed for screening starting on the 17th of October. Now at the moment it sounds like it could just be in the States, but hopefully also make a trip over here for screening, because I know I will be all for seeing this new Del Toro release, as well as a certain fellow creator who's very excited for this movie and hoping to see Case Knives Out as well over here as well. I'm all for checking this out. Now at the moment we'll see what comes of the release, but if it's a case it gets skipped here for cinemas, I'll be all for checking this out when the new man-made monster story comes onto Netflix from the 7th of November. Now we do have one more film release date in focus, but this one is the only one for a delay, and for the length of a delay is a bit of a confusing one. It was announced on Friday that the new animated film based on The Cat in the Hat, with the film confirmed delayed now from February 28th, 2026 all the way to November 6th or 7th, 2026. Now the reason is possibly to avoid a bit of competition from both another animated affair, Pixar's new film of Hoppers, it's out a week later, as well as WB's newest release film of The Bride coming out around the same time. The 7-month delay though is one I question why it's that long of a delay, as I feel it could easily delay it to like late April or early May or even the beginning of June, so we'll have a chance to make a profit of some new animated fare after the new Mario release earlier in April, or a case of releasing at the beginning of summer with schools wrapping up for the term for a few months. But I have no idea why the massive delay, because it also comes in reports that the film was already ready to be released, so I have no clue why they're delaying it that long. I'm sure there may be some other thing to play here for the delay, but I feel it could get moved if possibly, but I guess we'll see in due time. And if there's any response or change, I'll of course provide it in a later episode. Now this next one is not one that's possibly not the appeal of many, but in this case I was one that was very happy and excited. So excited I nearly had to control my excitement when heading home from work on the bus when it was announced that my favorite music comedy duo of Danny and Brian, or otherwise known as Ninja Sex Party, are back again with an all new album. Though it's not a new original, but rather it's with the 4th entry of their Under the Covers series, with this one being a selection of new tasty covers including the likes of Parallel by Huey Lewis, Walk the Dinosaur by Was What Not Was, Rosanna by Toto, Don't You Forget About Me from Simple Minds, Hey Jude by the Beatles, and many more. And I'm all for those tasty ass covers with the vocals of one Dan Avidan, and I am all for injecting those songs into my ear holes. And if there's any other people excited, this will be releasing onto Spoofy and other music sharing places from the 10th of October. The last of these release date announcements is coming to us in the form of a tech side of things, and this is with the element of some tech that was announced a few weeks ago at the beginning of the summer. As you've seen, the companies of the gaming scene all take their approach in the handheld side, with Nintendo and Sony being real familiar with the concept with the likes of the DS, Game Boy, the Switch, and PSPs and PlayStation Portals, and even the case of Steam with the Steam Deck 2. And it was well enough going to be a case of Xbox taking a leap into this at some point with the unveiling of the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X at the initial event, and this is where it came down to wondering when we can expect it, and that news came this week during the Gamescom showcase, where it was announced that 2 versions of the Xbox handheld will be releasing on the 16th of October. Now this is where it all was unveiled currently of what was seen. The price points, however, have not been provided and seems to be keeping it close to the chest until near release. There was some of the reported specs and prices that put it at most expensive of the handhelds or consoles, even over the Switch 2 or Steam Deck prices, but I guess we'll have to see what comes from all of this in due time. Now I feel I would have to try it out for myself by its release and see if it works well and I appeal to it, but I guess we'll see in due time, and once I do hear anything on a price, I'll provide it in a later episode. But I want to make you, what do you think of these new releases? Are you excited for a Backrooms film? Will you see the new Frankenstein in cinemas if it does come out here, or wait until Netflix? Does the new release date for Cat in the Hat make any sense to you? Will you get a new cover album by NSP, and will you be getting the new Xbox handheld console? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Now for our second of the stories for this week, it's a bit more of a shorter one in focus, but in the case it is a relation where we may have a bit of they may be separate stories, but they relate in some aspects of, comic book news in relation. They both are from the comics and stuff, so let's see what kind of updates we have for this week in particular. We once again start with some established news, and this one coming to us from the realm of the MCU, and a discussion about everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. As we have a bit of news, we're going to discuss about the upcoming project with new casting, another hero appearance, and a report of another casting that's unclear as to who they are playing. So we'll start with the new additions to the cast. It was announced on Wednesday that we have a new cast member joining, and in the form of Severance star Tramell Tillman, which I think is probably a solid choice performance going off his acclaimed role in the popular TV series from earlier this year. Now as for who he's playing is currently unclear, as I say the likes to be play someone that may help Peter in his time of need, or could be one of the many rumored villains in the film. But one discussion that has kind of started to become a bit of a talking point of rumored speculation, so the cast and some is speculating that Tillman may be possibly playing the new version role of Kang the Conqueror, replacing the original actor of Jonathan Majors. Now you were probably wondering how or why they may be playing to this theory or reported casting, and this comes into discussion with an update of another person with an unknown role in this film. That's of course with Stranger Things star Sadie Sink. Now I've made a discussion on the series for a few episodes now that the role she's playing has jumped around from being the new version of Mary Jane to Gwen Stacy to even a superhero known as believe Firestar or something like that. But it seems to be a case it's going once again back to another character first discussed and alluded to of her being cast as in the first place, and that's with the mutant of Jean Grey. And that the case of reason she may not be established as a mutant comes to the reason of the control of Kang, that in this timeline he has made that those that are mutants or believe they're X-Men are unaware that they are mutants or have mutant powers by altering the sacred timeline, because apparently the X-Men of Fantastic Four are a major threat to Kang and stuff of that kind of thing. This is apparently gone off some reports and rumors apparently close to the production, which I could feel could work, but it may be a bit all over the place, a little complicated all all this. But speaking of films being less overly complicated and more starting to feel overstuffed, this also comes in a report that another familiar face in the MCU may be making an appearance in this movie, and this is a report that Florence Pugh's Yelena may appear in the movie in some capacity alongside the Punisher and the Hulk, already confirmed. It's become a bit of a thing now that the film is starting to get a little overcrowded with familiar names, that I would not be surprised if they suddenly announced that Daredevil, Kate Bishop, or even Kamala Khan are all announced to be appearing in this, but it's really hard to say at this point in this time, and see if all these rumours and appearances and castings will actually play out. But I'm sure we will get a probably somewhat look into all this when more set leaks or promotion starts coming out, and if anything does come along about this or becomes official, I will of course update in a later episode. Now moving from something that's a bit more complicated to explain to focus to more of a straightforward explanation here, we have been given a word of a new take on a popular series of comics that will be getting a form of a movie treatment now, with some names and helping making it happen. As was announced on about Thursday or Friday this week that we're getting a new live action film based on the popular series of Archie comics. That will be written by Tom King, who's done some stuff for Batman and Supergirl, as well as being a former CIA agent, and being produced by Spider-Verse veterans and Lego Movie creatives duo of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Now, of course, this is not the most known and first in recent memory of a live-action take on this comic line, as least you forget, for the better half of around 7 years, we had a long-running adaptation with Riverdale that was a lot more dark and serious at first before it really went off the deep end in the later seasons, where, as of writing, the final episode released about 2 years ago to this day. And we also have the other Archie comic character with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, with her own 2-season series in between on Netflix, as well as a classic comedy from the 90s. So we have that kind of establishment. Now I feel with anything I can see Laura Miller working well with adapting something like this into a solid project, is seen with their commitments to the likes of the Lego Movie, Cloud Chance and Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, and of course the Spider-Verse series. So I will see how this project will come about. At the moment we have no idea when we can expect this project, but once I hear of any update, word, or anything about it, I'll of course bring it up in a later episode. What are your thoughts on the story? Do you see the Tillman playing the Spider-Man, and do you think the theories are true, or any other Spider-Man rumors and discussions are you intended to think is true or not? And are you interested in a new take on the Archie comics? Let me think down below in the comments on that aspect. Now for the final story for this week, we have a bit of a discussion that seems to be floating around, and I have a bit of an opinion on, but we are talking a little bit on the likes of one thing that'll be in full swing from the end of the next week or so, and that is with the start of the focus of the award season. Now, we see a lot of festivals and events happen over the course of the last few months of the end of the year, up until around the end of March or so, and that's with the focus, the last big event that's known to many people, and that is of course with the Oscars. Now, we have seen the likes of the shows being owned by the rights of ABC for a fair length of time now, and the rights to the broadcasting event, and seems to be the case that it'll be up at some point in the placing ending around 2028, I believe, so around the time of the 100th anniversary of the event and stuff like that. But it seems to be the case that there seems to be another one that looking to obtain the rights to showcase the event, and that's to do with none other than YouTube. Now, it seems to be the case that my own personal opinion about this is that I feel it can have one decent benefit and the other being a bit of a messy and questionable approach, as while I feel the choice to be able to watch the awards ceremony live streamed on the platform is a good thing, the real concern would be that the event becomes tainted by the overabundance of creators or influencers on big egos thinking they are invited to win awards, or have some creators that may have some shady stuff in their past and love to present awards and stuff, and I think they are on the same level as the likes of some big name stars, actors and directors, thinking that when they put their craft into a project, instead of like these influencers who basically, you know, do that kind of thing for like 10 minutes and be part of someone's vlogger's 10-minute video or something. But I hope it's not the case of that latter half, and just more a case of the former part of thing, just allowing to stream on the platform, but still run hosted by members of the Academy or big name stars instead of influencers. Or even the case instance if it is by influencer aspects, just people that work more in the field of stuff of film and television that focus on that area of things, instead of just like, you know, people that really don't have much association with the concept. Now, it is unclear right now if they have the chance to do so, or the likes of ABC will continue to renew before the license is up, but I guess we'll see in due time, and if there's any updates about it, I can provide in a later episode. So in this aspect, I want to know, the question is, do you think that YouTube taking the rights to the Oscars seems like a good thing, or do you think it will be a recipe for disaster? Let me know what you think down below, and with all that regards, that's all the news that we do have for this week as well. Now, this is kind of one I haven't done in a while, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to do two separate ones for this version anyway, so this is a bit of a special segment. And in this regards, I have covered this creator's content before in terms wise of like their product, but I think it was at the end of 2023 or start of last year, and some points of last year, there was another fellow Irish creator known as Irish Panda Queen, who you can see on YouTube and on Twitch, and you know, I'm going to help push the case because I follow her Twitch stuff to help her reach 150 subs on her YouTube channel, like of her second one that does all the interviews and stuff. Earlier this year, or some point last year, she created her unique product, and that of course is her product of you can get it here on the camera, Pure Crack. Now, this is a tropical flavor fruit supplement with sweetener, which is a case of, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like gamer subs, but probably more of a healthier brand of things. And in regards here, I have been trying out myself, and It is actually very nice. Like, it's not overly sweet. It's like, it's not high in sugars. It's like, it's kind of like more of a healthier approach formed with. It's got like it gives me a sense of like nostalgic thing of like, you know, like kind of going to like it kind of reminds me of like childhood kind of thing, like that kind of like sweeten your drink kind of thing, but like, you know, reminisce of the good old days. Like it is really nice. It's very tasty. It's very sweet. It's like very delicious. And in all case of things as well, like, you know, every time you sign up for the things, like, you know, you become an absolute certified legend, as you can clearly see there. And in case, you know, if you're officially certified legend, that's pretty cool and help support a small group. And in all regards, in case if you want to try it out for yourself in this regards, like I will probably be doing once I use up this packet, as well as the promo they did during July, which was like when you buy the large pack, you get a free small one for free as well. You know, you can check out the Pure Crop website, which I'll link down below, as well as the case of Irish Band of Queens YouTube and Twitch, as well as case if you use the code LEGEND, you get 10% off your order and stuff like that. So it will be case instance to definitely try it out and help support a small channel. And if you want me to cover anything that's like, you know, a special segment yourself, you can let me know down below in the comments and stuff, and I will definitely do it. Go check out Pure Crack and become a pure legend yourself. So yeah,
I made a vow to have peace, no matter how many people I have to kill to get it.
And in any case, with all of that, that ends episode 118 of Weird My Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my ramblings for probably in this case about 30 minutes, but we'll see in this regards. Anyways, I'm going to try and fly through the conclusion because it's probably the same old stuff you've seen every single week, but let's get into it. So the reviews wise, the last of season 1 and 2 are coming along as well. I have recorded the next 4 snack size box offices, which includes Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, How to Train Your Dragon remake, Civil War, and If. I have a few other ones in mind that after recording next, I'm going to do a list and see what ones I might try to shorten down and stuff like that, but I will get to those in due time, so a lot of them will be coming eventually. And other long form stuff as well as long, short, different lengths of variations I will get to at some point in that aspect of things, but all those reviews are coming, so look forward to them. The short ones should probably be coming out in the next few days, but we'll see. Then the case of gameplay wise, I was meant to record stuff the last day or two, I just kind of forgot to, or I was exhausted. It's been a long week, honestly. The week felt like never ending, so I will get back to recording some DK Bonanza, some Star Wars Outlaws, Mario Wonder, Cyberpunk, and all other content and stuff for like different consoles and like PC stuff as well. I get to like ventilate and everything like that. I'm going to get to those games as well, and maybe some try some multiplayer games. So people want to play multiplayer stuff like Peak or something. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see it online. And in the case of stuff of long form stuff, so like AI Audience Choice Video, Rewatch-a-thon, Horror Most Bored, they're all going to come eventually as well. I'm also going to get around to actually doing that time lapse video for the Luxo lamp and stuff like that. In this case, I'm using the Optimus Prime box as like the kind of a little stand thing for this here, and I'm going to maybe build that next for the Fantastic Four one, or I have some other ones in mind that might pick up in a particular instance and see how it goes, but we'll see in this aspect. Maybe the Vendidoizer, I don't know. But with all that regards, I think I'm going to end it there for now. So if you like my content and want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like and subscribe, because I upload new stuff every single week. I'm hoping to reach 500 subs soon enough in that regards, as well as a case of ending for 1,000 subs by the end of the year, but 500 is our manageable goal right now. I'm hoping to I'm about 20 away, so let's get that going. So all support is appreciated. Every single person who watch my stuff, I appreciate it. Even if just kind of a glancing blow kind of thing, it's grand. And let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week down below, like your thoughts on the new releases that you might have seen, the trailers, news and stuff like that, as well as in case if you decide to, you know, pick yourself up the special segment thing, but we can see that regards of stuff. But let me know your thoughts on everything discussed down below. I'd love to hear. But as always, I'm gonna leave it there for now. So as with that, you all stay be wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, keeping you because no one else can do what you do, and of course take care of your mental health because it is very important, especially as we head into the autumn and winter months. You know, it's a tough time, and checking on your mates and family because sometimes you need it. But anyways, I've been your host Sam, and I shall see you all in the next episode. So take care, and I shall see you later.